Hello. In this presentation, I will be discussing educational leadership in regards to different leadership theory principles. I will be correlating the information with the leadership style inventory that was completed in preparation for this presentation. The majority of this presentation will focus on how leadership theory has impacted my personal and professional experiences, as well as relating different concepts that were learned in class with the selected inventory. Objectives. There will be three main objectives for this presentation. Objective number one, discuss the educational leadership inventory. Why was this particular inventory chosen? And what are the focal points of this inventory? Objective number two, correlate the inventory to educational leadership. How does this inventory relate to theories that we have discussed in class? And objective number three, impacts on my personal philosophy. How has this course shaped the way in which I now view educational leadership? Educational leadership inventory. When looking for an inventory to review, I wanted to choose one that covered a breadth of topics and skills. While many focused on just a few traits within a leader, the one I have chosen was very comprehensive. It was developed by the Connecticut State Board of Education, covers 12 different categories pertaining to educational leadership within a public school. These range from teaching and learning strategies to how well the community is involved within your school. Respondees rate themselves from 1 to 4, 1 being seldom, 2 being sometimes, 3 being frequently, and 4 being almost always. This allowed the respondee to multiple choices to self-critique. Chosen due to comprehensiveness surrounding collaboration and community involvement within schools. Again, this survey was chosen mainly due to its ability to challenge and critique multiple factors of a leader within education. Self-reflection. Self-reflection within current leadership theories. The inventory prompts respondees to reflect on various elements of leadership theory within their current role. For example, one section of the inventory is devoted to how the leader impacts learning, while the other focuses on how leaders impact teaching. While both the concepts of teaching and learning pertain to education, they have unique qualities that highlight some traits over others. These qualities challenge the respondents to give an in-depth analysis of how they lead amongst multiple skills. This is very important when a role, such as management of a school or an administrator, has multiple functions for which they are a leader. Misconception that only one leadership theory can be utilized. The inventory correlates to teachings we have discussed in class regarding misconceptions within leadership. One misconception, for example, was that there is a one-size-fits-all approach to teaching. This inventory helps challenge this by prompting questions that prove the contrary. It does this by prompting the respondent to reflect on multiple areas of leadership. Some of these areas include community outreach, professional development, and their ability to follow through with protocols. Review of how leadership styles can impact both employees and students. The questions surrounding leadership and their ability to impact employees and students resonated particularly with me. Since the COVID-19 pandemic has affected almost every aspect of our life, the questions requiring the respondent to reflect on the ramifications of their actions are especially salient when talking about educational leadership. Professional development. Importance of professional development within a leadership role. One question within the survey asks, do you create ongoing opportunities for staff to engage in discussion? Questions like this are extremely relevant when discussing professional development. Not only do these questions place specific importance on continued training, a common theme that has taken place within our classroom discussions, but also provide the staff with growth opportunities. This is an area of leadership that has been missing within many public schools, including my own. Since I have seen the effect that minimal access to varied professional development can be, it has impacted my philosophy of it. Rather than viewing professional development as checking an item off of a box, as I previously had seen it within regards to professional development, I now can see it for its full potential. This critical change that has happened within my theory of leadership is attributed to the learnings within this course. It will also impact the future ways in which I conduct myself for professional development opportunities, either as a participant or a leader. Challenging the respondent to discuss the ways in which they approach professional development. Approach can greatly impact the way in which both administrators and staff view professional development. From reviewing the questions within this inventory, I now understand the importance that language plays when discussing training and development. Since learners are greatly influenced by those in charge, they can easily be negatively impacted if their leaders are apathetic or lethargic towards potential training opportunities. This survey challenges the respondent to critically evaluate the way in which they approach the training with their staff. Encouragement of their staff to take professional development into their own hands. Many questions that were categorized as professional development focused on following staff to become more positive agents of change. For example, one question asks, do you encourage staff to take responsibility for their own growth? This is closely tied to participative theory, and that staff should have a larger part in impacting their professional growth. Not only does this prompt the staff to take ownership of their professional development, but it also takes some weight and burden off the shoulders of their administrators. Staff is able to cater and gear their professional development towards their strengths and interests, rather than sitting in arbitrary trainings that do not affect them. Response to social and ethical issues. Degree to which administrators should respond to ethical issues within their school. While the inventory is comprehensive in most areas, it is not so much in this one. The inventory makes a small attempt to discuss ethics within administrative roles. For example, they ask the respondent, do you articulate the value, premises, and ethical principles that guide? This is in line with many teachings we have discussed about the importance of ethics within school systems. This question can help highlight ethical issues that may be plaguing a school district, while also allowing respondents to praise their current ethical prowess. Ways in which this survey could be improved by discussing ethical issues / personal philosophy surrounding ethics in school. While there is one question that discusses ethical issues within the schools, it does not nearly ask enough questions regarding this matter. It should also be noted that this inventory asked the respondent 12 different sections, and only one was geared towards ethical issues within schools. One quote from a reading that stood out regarding this topic was by Brown and Trevino from 2006. They suggest that, quote, ethical leaders were seen as fair and principled decision makers who care about people in the broader society and who behave ethically in their personal and professional lives, end quote. This quote fits perfectly and aligns with my professional leadership philosophy that I have developed over the past few weeks. It is evident that if a particular leader is fair, it will transcend from the top down. The positive ramifications of making ethically conscious decisions are ultimately evident to those within a school system, whether or not they are initially clear. This is a philosophy that, in my opinion, cannot and should not be ignored. Progress and growth have been profound and distinct concepts within our research in this course. As we develop and grow as a society, so should the way in which we approach and respond to ethical issues. Closing remarks. Revision is an important component of any role. While some professions may be more greatly impacted by revision than others, it is indisputable that education is at the top of the list. Revision of my leadership style has been the most impactful lesson that I have learned in this course. This inventory, as well as the course as a whole, has helped me realize areas of strength within my current leadership style, but also potential areas of growth. I will continue to strive and be diligent with my approach to issues that impact the community in which I serve.